Welcome, everybody. This is the very first Blogorail video chat where some of your Blogorail pilots gather to talk about whatever we want, really. This is our first one, so be nice if you're tuning in. Don't judge us. I'm Becca, and I blog at Love Our Crazy Life, and I have been with the Blogorail for 2.5 years now, I think. Maybe 3. I don't know. I should be better at knowing that. And I'll let you guys go ahead and introduce yourself. Let's start with James and then go Mary and then Mike.
Hi, I'm James. Is Where the Mouse Is, where I blog with my wife Lisa, and we blog about family lifestyle, a lot of Disney, travel around our area in New York City and the Northeast, and doing things at home with our kids. And we like to think that we're unique because we're like a husband and wife team. So check us out at homeswherethemouses.com.
Hi, I'm Mary. Mary Connor with Capturing Magical Memories. I blog about crafting, Disney travel, life with the family, and trying to balance it with work. So a little bit of everything for everybody. You can visit me at capturingmagicalmemories.com. I've been with the Blogorail for 5 years now, so I'm one of the older ones.
And my name is Mike Ellis, and I'm with My Dreams of Disney. And I am the oldest one because I've been here with the Blogorail since February 2011. I am over at mydreamsofdisney.com, and we focus on pretty much anything Disney. Although we do branch out in a lot of different areas, but primarily Disney related. And the blog started as just like a scrapbook, just a way of documenting the trips we took, and it just took a life of its own. So welcome aboard, and hope everyone has fun with us. I know we are.
All right, so I get the privilege of kind of guiding our first chat. So we wanted to talk about Disney in the fall, and summer's winding down, and everyone's going to start planning their Disney vacations for this fall, or maybe you're not because you're like me and you're taking a year off of Disney, but one of the questions that we wanted to address was the crowds in the fall. So, James, what would you like to tell us about the crowds at Walt Disney World?
Sure. I mean, one of the biggest complaints that people have about going to Disney is how crowded it is. And if you're like us, me and Lisa and my family, we're always stuck going when it's on the school vacation, or maybe during the summer when school's out and it's really crowded. But in the fall, you get like half the crowds. You get maybe at most you get like an average crowd. There might be like 1 or 2 weekends, like maybe Columbus Day, Labor Day, maybe like if it's Halloween, then you get like a large crowd at one of the parks. Food and wine can draw some people in, but overall, you have about probably like an average crowd at the highest, and on certain days of the week you get really, really low crowds, which means no waiting in lines for any of the attractions, more than like 10, 15 minutes. So it's really great. So if you're able to go during the fall, the crowd levels are ideal if you can make it during that time.
Awesome. Yeah. At Disneyland, it's a little bit different. Their crowds stay pretty packed until after Labor Day, and then it dies down. But Friday and Saturdays and Sundays are still packed because Disneyland has more of a local appeal. Like, they have a lot of locals that come into the park, so you're gonna find it like really dead during the day, and then at night it'll be super busy, especially on Fridays, and then Saturdays and Sundays are still busy, and they stay busy clear until Labor Day. And then in the middle of October, a lot of the surrounding states have what's called track breaks, where they get 3 weeks off of school, a lot of them, and so they get a few weeks there where they get pretty busy in mid-October too. But it's still way better than summer or spring break or Christmas break. So, and then of course the weather's better. What's the weather like in Walt Disney World over there?
Well, in Florida, you're still in the height when September is still the height of hurricane season. So even if you don't have a hurricane coming through, you get a lot of tropical moisture coming through, a lot of systems that move through Florida. So you always have the threat of the afternoon rainstorm. You get the high humidity. and you're looking at average temps of probably like upper 80s for your highs and mid 70s for your low for September. And then like when you get into October, it starts to come down a little bit, less humid in October, a little less hot. And by the time you get to early November, you get really nice weather, my kind of weather, where it's like mid 70s for your high, and then your lows and like probably like the 60s or so. That's typical, but then there are exceptions to every rule. So you could show up there and have it be a heat wave in the middle of November, or you'd be unseasonably cold in late September, early October. So you got to be prepared for a little bit of everything.
In Disneyland, one time we went in October, and they had a 3 to 4 day heat wave, and the temps were over $105 degrees every single day for 3 days. It was awful.
I was gonna say you pay for the temperature, huh?
yeah. Slip of the tongue there, but yeah. And then of course at Disneyland it's still cold at night, so because once the sun goes down over there, it cools down really bad, like really big, and so you have to still take a jacket and so it's kind of crazy when it was 105 during the day, and then at night you're like freezing. It was strange, but it was still fun. That's the point, right? So let's talk park hours and in the fall. I don't know what the park hours are like at Walt Disney World, but I know at Disneyland they're shorter. And of course, we have the Halloween parties that cut it shorter on certain days of the week for Disneyland. But normally you're looking at like closing like 10 to 8 or 10 to 10 are the hours, and then on Halloween party days, Disneyland closes at 6 or 7. What's it like over in Walt Disney World?
Well, in Walt Disney World, they cut back on the hours during the fall as well, and you generally won't. The park, like Magic Kingdom is generally the latest park, and you'll close like around 10 unless they're having a party. Then general admission, will be done by like 7, 8 o'clock, and then the party people can go in as early as 7, and they party until whatever the park shuts down for the evening. And you get those special events you got to watch out for. You've got on the weekends you'll probably be open a little bit later. Probably talking like 10 or 11 depending on the park, and then during the week you might be seeing park closures at like 9 o'clock. Not like the summer where it's actually good. Like if you got little kids and with the low crowds and everything, it's a great time to be there because then you're not staying till closing out the park. You're not tempted to kind of cram every little bit of magic into your stay and be there until like 1 o'clock in the morning, and then try to get up the next day at like 6 to make a rope drop at another park. So it's actually better that way.
Exactly. Did you have something to say, Mary?
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to seeing what Animal Kingdom does and how that sort of adjusts for this, because I think normally it was 4 p.m. is when it would close in the fall over at the Animal Kingdom. So I think getting that till even 7 or 8 during the fall is going to make a big difference on your options.
Yeah. Speaking of that, so like new events going on, that's one of the things is that Animal Kingdom has added a lot of stuff. I'm not a Walt Disney World person, really. I'm a Disneyland person. So what's going on at Walt Disney World like that's new this fall that people need to know about?
I know, one of the big things is, as we just mentioned, was Animal Kingdom's nighttime events, which is a huge deal. Being open later at the park, being able to do the nighttime safari, which is something that with new animals that are nocturnal and they're more active at night, and plus some of the other animals that you would normally see are more active when the sun goes down. So it's a whole different experience. Getting to ride some of the attractions you normally wouldn't get to ride in the dark is awesome. Plus you have the new nighttime shows, which the Rivers of Light was delayed and it hasn't opened yet, but everybody's looking forward to that. Plus you have the Jungle Book show. I haven't personally gotten to see it, but I've heard, some people love it, and I've heard some other people thought it was maybe a little rushed, but still another option that you didn't have before. So the Animal Kingdom is just it's like a whole new park now that it's open later and into the evening. It's a whole different experience.
Oh yeah.
I remember when one of the first times we were first going to Disney, they had Animal Kingdom had evening extra magic hours, and back then my daughter was only like 6 or 7, so that the only thing we could do was I think it's the Dinerland USA area where they had the different smaller kiddie sorts of rides, and they had a block party where the characters came out, and then being there at night was so cool. But I can't imagine what it's going to be like to be able to go to the whole area, you know, and see so many of these different areas at night. It's going to be really neat. Can't wait till I can see it.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be awesome. It kind of sounds like they're doing the Animal Kingdom what they did to California Adventure, because California Adventure used to be a half-day park, and they totally transformed it and made it into a full-day park. And it sounds like that's what they're trying to do with Animal Kingdom as well. So, So of course, everyone's big question about fall is, are there any discounts? And I'm going to just answer right now for Disneyland. There are no discounts in the fall. Don't even ask. I mean, unless you're lucky to find a discount through work, or if you're military, of course, there's discounts. But for general public, there are no discounts at Disneyland. But that's not the case with Walt Disney World. So, you know, you have a couple different things. Of course, everyone's big one that they talk about is free dining. And then there's also room discounts. So I think, is it Mary? Did you have information on those amounts, or?
Oh gosh! Now I got to put on the glasses. So right now, Mike might have to tell us on the dining, but there are multiple room discounts out right now. So I mean, there are ones from anything from 20, I think it's 20 to 35% off, depending. Anybody can get the 30% off. But then annual pass holders and DVCs have a little bit more, so they may get an extra 5%. And then if you're really lucky, there's the military discounts that are really significant. They can even go up to, I think, when we look down here, I think it was 40% off. So it's definitely worth looking into for a room-only discount. There's some definite bargains out there right now, and that's typical for this time of year. Is you can really do an economical vacation there at Disney.
Yeah, I guess I did lie. There are room discounts at Disneyland, but they're not as significant, and because all Disneylands are deluxe, like they're compared to Walt Disney World, they'd be considered deluxe hotels. It doesn't seem like much of a discount when you go to book. It still feels like it's a lot of money. But Mike, what about free dining? I know you probably know a lot about that.
Well, the free dining did extend some into there, and to be honest, my brain is a little fried on the dates on all that. But I don't think you can still get any free dining quotes, although I might be wrong on that. I was just looking over at the DTA site and was looking at the featured offers, and I don't see any that specifically mention free dining. I see the ones that specifically mention the room discounts, like Mary was saying. But I don't know. I'm sorry for dropping the ball on that, but I don't think there are a whole lot of. And at this point, with the way free dining goes, it's been released out for long enough that it's going to be a case where you're going to find very few rooms, if there are still some available. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. That goes quick. So if you were looking for free dining, you probably missed the boat, unless they extend dates. Sometimes they do that kind of later on in the game, but unless they do that, you're kind of out of luck a little bit with that. But people shouldn't worry, because sometimes free dining isn't the best deal there is. Because if you're like me, you're not a big foodie, and so you don't spend a ton of money on food in the parks, and so free dining isn't as good a deal as that room discount. At least not for me, it wouldn't be. So just to wrap up, let's just talk really quick. Anything else in the fall that, just a general overview, like I know Disneyland, like I already talked a little bit about, we have our Haunted Mansion layover for the Nightmare Before Christmas, but they also put a layover on Space Mountain to do Ghost Galaxy. So we have a couple of overlays, which is something unique to Disneyland that we like to hold over your guys' head, that we get our Jack Skellington Haunted Mansion, and we get all the cool overlays in at Christmas too. So those two go on through Halloween. Of course, the Haunted Mansion goes clear through the Christmas holiday time as well, because it's both Christmas and Halloween. California Adventure honestly doesn't do much. So when I got married the year that California Adventure opened, and we've gone in the fall a lot because that's our anniversary. And so they used to like deck it out with like fall stuff and like a harvest festival type thing. And I think the last time I saw them really do that was 2007, 2008, somewhere around there. And then they announced in 2007, right after I got home from my trip, they announced the remodel and how they were going to change it. So I think it's been since then that they've kind of stopped. But what kind of stuff can we look for at Walt Disney World for fall and Halloween?
I always liked how they did the street signs. I mean, I've only been really in the fall once because of the school schedules, and that was the 40th anniversary. I always liked how they had the street signs with the pumpkins and the Mickey ears and the hidden Mickeys that you get out of those, and all that I always thought was so neat. And that trip was one of our favorite trips just because everything on that weekend fell so perfectly, you know? It was just like everything just hit right the way it was supposed to. So I don't think I could ever go back in the fall and have as good a trip as that. But I look forward to that time when I can go back there. But I always thought that the street signs and the lights and the lamps and stuff like that were just really neat how they did that.
Mike, you reminded us that we overlooked another important event this fall at Walt Disney World, which is another anniversary at the Magic Kingdom, 45th.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was this fall. You haven't heard a whole lot about it though. You know, it's like they're not. I don't know. Maybe I'm just don't have my ear to the ground like that, but I haven't heard hardly anything going on with it. Have you?
Just the merchandise. There's been maybe two announcements of special merchandise, and I mean, you got the 50th coming, in another 5 years, so they're probably saving up a lot for that. But they usually will do something on that day. So if you're planning a trip and you're going to happen to be there, October 1st, and you go to the Magic Kingdom, there's sure to be something going on to commemorate the day. It's probably not going to be as big as it will be in another 5 years when they do the big 5-0.
Yeah, and they're coming off the Disneyland 60th, so maybe they're just all partied out. I don't know. but yeah,
I mean,
they always seem to do something on the day. Whatever park you're at, if you go on the day, there seems to be a little celebration and some merchandise. So, and I don't know if does Hollywood Studios even, do they do any decorations or anything like that? Or I have no idea. So
no, they don't. And right now they probably won't at all.
Yeah, with all the work going on over there.
They do have mini seasonal dine at Hollywood Studios, so you could watch for maybe that could be Halloween themed, or maybe they'll do something to go with the season over there. If you want to go for a character dining experience that kind of fits the season, you can check that out at Hollywood Studios.
All right. I know fall is our favorite time to go. We like Christmas time too, but it just seems like it's always busier for us, so we don't get a chance to go very often. But we love the fall, and hopefully everyone gets a chance to go at least one time during the fall because it's really nice. But I think this went great, guys.
I think it was so much fun.
It was. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And this goes live August 17th, correct, Mary?
That's what I'm planning to. So yes, I'm planning on doing some editing, adding some video, so hopefully what we talk about will make sense to people. So I'm going to give it a shot.
So we will see you guys next time, and thanks for tuning in. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.